Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Before we get into this video, I want to warn you, it has massive spoilers for AHSOKA Season 2. It warns you about Mando and Grogu, so it might technically spoil it for you, but there's no plot details, and there are spoilers for Star Wars Celebration coming up this year. So if any of those things concern you, click off now, and then you can come back later after, you see it or whatever, or never, or just don't, but if you don't care like me and you just want to be excited about some upcoming Star Wars thing for once, then stick along, and there's definitely things in here that are going to make you excited. So, next question. Where does this information come from? A very reliable leaker that I am not allowed to name that leaked this first to Josh from the Den of Nerds. He leaked it to us, and apparently there is still information that we do not have, because that would cause this unknown leaker to lose his job. So basically, so we still have tons of other stuff to, that we don't know about, but we have a ton given to us as well. So it's like kind of that, 50-50 mix. So where I have this all written down, I noted everything, and we're going to start off with AHSOKA Season 2. And I'm going to try to keep this concise. I probably won't, but I'm going to try. So the first thing, Abeloth is 100% confirmed to be a major part of AHSOKA Season 2. The theory from Season 1 was that Abeloth was calling to Balin, and that's why he was searching, Peredia for something having to do with the Force, and he felt that his mission was to go there and unlock further mysteries of the Force, and that he needed to build his own order because the Jedi failed him. So now we know that that's Abeloth that's been calling to him, and that's confirmed, which is insane. And Abeloth is deep Legends lore that not a lot of people know about. So this is definitely going to piss the critics off. I already know this is going to piss the critics off, because whenever they use deep lore in Star Wars, the critics get very angry, because it's too, too much. It's too out of their small, narrow minds. It's too big for them, so it's like it scares them a little bit. But so from that alone, we can expect, hey, this show, the critics are going to bomb it, but the fans, if it's written well, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. But, that just got me thinking about that element. So that's one. Abeloth is the main big villain in Season 2. And what I love about this is this is exactly what I wanted from AHSOKA Season 2 if they're doing it. Because, at first I was like, all right, this is just done. I don't understand. They got Ezra back. Now they're stuck on this planet and they need to get off. And I thought, okay, well, now they just need to get off the planet. That's their one objective. But I was like, if I were doing an AHSOKA Season 2, I wouldn't do that. I would do a bunch of Force stuff and everything. You can go back to old videos where I've talked about this. And that's what I've said, is that we should just do Force stuff there and like training and whatever. If we're doing a Season 2 at all, and that is what this is. So Dave Filoni actually has come up with a really great thing here. And if he can maintain the writing element, because like I always say, he has great story ideas. He just doesn't know how to get it on the page very well. And before he had George to help him get it on the page and a whole room of Clone Wars writers. Now it's all him, and he has to get it on the page, and he struggles sometimes. And we saw that in AHSOKA Season 1, which was why I wasn't really excited for Season 2, because I was like, I don't know, like, where they're going to go with this, it just was so, like, ambiguous. Like, the ending is like, I don't know what's going to happen here. or what can happen or what should happen. I was like, I don't care, dude. And those last 2 episodes of Ahsoka season 1 sucked, dude. Oh my gosh. So, and that show, the middle 3 episodes were the best. 4, 5, and 6 were the best episodes of that show. And then everything outside of that was just either mid or crap. Like, I'm going to be honest. So that show's very much like a 6 out of 10 for me. You know, and those 3 middle episodes are some of the best Star Wars we've gotten out of Disney. And it's like, why couldn't they have just done that for the whole season? And I don't know. It's like Dave does this with Rebels too, where the vast majority of the Rebels episodes are just filler junk, and then there's those few sprinkled in there that are just some of the best Star Wars ever. And you're like, what the heck? And then they go back and it's like, oh, well, this isn't the last episode I saw. It's like he does this weird inconsistency of quality. So I hope that he's at least took some of the feedback from season 1 and that he's going to apply it for season 2. So with that said, we're going to move on to the second leak rumor. This one, pretty obvious. It would be kind of insane if Anakin Skywalker was not present in Ahsoka season 2, as we've seen him kind of guide Ahsoka along up until now. Throughout all of season 1, he was kind of there. Even in spirit, like, just in dialogue, and he's always been kind of involved in the plot. And now they are really bringing him along, and he's not just going to be making cameos anymore. He's going to be a series regular in a significant part of the season, and he will be spending a lot of time with Ahsoka and Sabine as a Force ghost. So, what does this mean? This means that this Abeloth crisis is so bad that Anakin is literally going to come back from death to help these kids with it, because he knows that they cannot do it on their own and they are way too weak to handle her. And guess who can handle her? Anakin. Why? Because I'm pretty sure that he is now the living embodiment of the Father. Ahsoka season 1 implied that heavily, and cross-referencing that with what we know about the Father, the Daughter, the Son, the Mother, and the Clone Wars and Legends, and you connect those together, there's a lot of proof that Anakin is pretty much the Father, So that's crazy alone. That is just insane. That Anakin's just going to be what in the heck? So automatically, this show can't be the worst Star Wars show ever made, because just seeing Hayden as Anakin and he kills it every time, that's going to be enough. That's going to be enough for me to at least give it something. Like Kenobi show, it's horrible. The writing's trash. But there are moments in there that I genuinely love, like the Vader versus Obi-Wan duel at the end of the show, or those tiny little moments with like Vader getting his suit put on, or going through the village and like just destroying everybody, right? Like that, like those little things, or Obi-Wan choosing to step off a Tatooine for the first time, or like, and he moves his cloak and his saber's there. Like, all those little things are there purely because they're existing characters that we love, So, with that said alone, I really think season 2 will at least have that. And Dave knows how to write Anakin really well. Because why? He worked with George, on Anakin specifically throughout all of Clone Wars. So, he's very well versed and has been very well taught in that character. So, am I concerned about Anakin at all? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So that's just super exciting for me, because as you all know, I love Anakin Skywalker, and I guess everyone does now, which is interesting, because back in the day, that was not the case. But that's very thrilling and exciting to me, that we're going to get Hayden back in a lead role, pretty much. That's insane. As Anakin, too, like, dude, please, please do that. That's going to be sick. And I guess this is tied to the Mortis arc and the lore surrounding the Celestials. And the Celestials are the Father, the Son, the Daughter, and the Mother, which the Mother is Abeloth and not technically part of the Celestials. She is her own demon, but yeah, that the Celestials are a part of this. And supposedly there's going to be a flashback of them, which I will get to later. Like, this season, if it's written well, is going to be insane. Like, the dream Star Wars project, this could be it. However, how high is my faith in that? Not very high at all, because of the track record, but anyways, so for the third thing showing up in Ahsoka, third person, Tamora Morrison is confirmed for season 2, possibly playing Rex or another clone. Which, again, I think that's long overdue, and I think he should have been really prevalent in Ahsoka season 1. I feel he should have been, along with Ahsoka, on that journey to Peretti and everything. Like, I don't understand why he wasn't, because especially in that period of time, like, I don't know, they're gonna have to explain why they kind of split apart for a bit, Yeah, and then, kind of going off topic for a second, this is still kind of on Tamora Morrison. He apparently has a really big announcement to make for Star Wars Celebration in Japan, which is likely related to the Book of Boba Fett Season 2. And look, I think they know and they understand at this point that if they do a Season 2 of that show, he cannot be wussy Boba anymore. He has to be Boba Fett from the George stuff. Like, brutal, morally screwed, kind of a terrible person, Boba Fett. That is what I want to see. Badass Boba Fett. That is it. And they have to understand that if they are doing a season 2, it has to nail it, because they failed miserably the first time. So, and this is great news in general, because Tamora Morrison and Disney had a lot of, I don't know if it was Disney, more Lucasfilm, had a lot of beef for a while because of the way Book of Boba was handled, and how Tem was very unhappy with the way they treated Boba Fett, and he publicly stated against them multiple times, and it caused beef to the extent that he wasn't in Mando Season 3. There was all these things that kind of went wrong there, and now I guess there's a deal with him coming back, and I feel that this deal would have to be good enough for him to step back into the boots, because he loves and knows the character well enough, to where I feel like he wouldn't do another Boba Season 1, so, and especially knowing that they had beef, like, Lucasfilm has to just be desperate at this point, that they're understanding we actually want to see more of the main characters of Star Wars, and not, like, random ass shit that we've been getting constantly. I love Andor, and Skeleton Crew is fine, so that's great. However, I'd like to see more of the main characters. I'm not like, I don't need 1,000 Andors, and as much as I think that's the best show they've done yet, I don't need 1,000 Andors, and I don't need 1,000 Skeleton Crews. That's the thing. It's like a few here and there is cool, because it's like we get to spend time in the universe and focus on the universe and less focused on, I mean, you're focused on the individual, but not as much. You're more just like indulging in the universe. That's what I loved about Andor, is it's like you're in You feel like you're there. I don't know. It's just this feeling. But anyways, I'm glad that they're turning around because they are desperate right now, guys. Like, they are so desperate because Star Wars is at such a low point right now that, like, they are grasping and reaching for anything that could make them money, you know? So yeah, that's Tem, and I'm excited for Celebration. I'm very excited because they didn't have the Lucasfilm panel, and I was like, oh no, this means they're not announcing anything. But as we've heard, they're just announcing things in different hidden little panels around, you know? So we will see. The fourth person in Ahsoka, Ewan McGregor, is returning as Obi-Wan Kenobi, likely in flashbacks, which may be also featuring scenes of young Ahsoka with Hayden Christensen as Anakin. And this could expand on the Ahsoka-Anakin relationship explored in earlier seasons of the Clone Wars and the trial run of this flashback thing in season 1. That is a dream come true for me. I've been wanting live-action Clone Wars content for years, and we're getting it. And by the way, when this is saying maybe also whatever, is for legal reasons, because they don't want, Josh and the leaker, they don't want Disney going after them and taking their shit down. So by saying maybe also, I'm not going to audibly say it, but you can infer what I am trying to tell you. This is pretty legit. This is not rumor farm. This is serious. The fifth person in Ahsoka Season 2, Liam Neeson. Liam Neeson will return as Qui-Gon Jinn, likely in Force Ghost form. His return ties into the mythical cosmic elements of the galaxy. This may further develop the Force Ghost lore alongside Anakin and other figures. So, that has to happen too. You cannot have this major Force thing going on and not have Qui-Gon Jinn. And it's insane to me that Liam Neeson's returning because he really has been adamant about how Disney's not been doing a good job and how they're oversaturating Star Wars. And, he said all this stuff, and then he showed up in Obi-Wan for a bit and he was like, I'm done. But I guess either he got a big enough paycheck or he was confident enough in the story to come back. And now for this one, I don't know how long Qui-Gon or Obi-Wan are going to be in the show. And, Qui-Gon's always been a guiding figure. He's not going to be like a starring person, I don't think. But he'll be there, and that's insane. For the next person, Sam Witwer. Sam Witwer will play the son from the Mortis arc in flashbacks to the events on Mortis from Star Wars The Clone Wars Season 3. He will be part of the Mortis trilogy, obviously, with new actors cast for the father and the daughter in live action. This is crazy. So they're going to have a flashback to that season, and we are going to get that season in live action. We're going to see a scene from that season in live action, from that arc. And that's crazy. Again, if they nail this, that could be a dream come true, man. Because, again, how cool would it be to see them in live action and see kind of this arc that helped contribute to make me as big of a Star Wars fan I am today. And that was a big one for me, was the Mortis arc. And that blew my mind at the expansive reality of the Force, and being able to have that be full circle and for me to actually see it with Sam in live action and with Hayden, and, that's going to be insane. And then same kind of deal with Tem. There's a lot of talk for Sam Witwer that there is a Darth Maul animated series, and I've heard about this before, that is going to be happening, where Sam would return, obviously, to voice Maul. And it's this underworld kind of show. Ventress will be in it. Quinlan Voss will be in it. And this is supposedly going to be announced at Celebration. And I originally thought, oh, that leak or whatever rumor is really just Tales of the Underworld, which got announced and looks sick, by the way. I was like, oh, okay, it's just like the short series. But I guess no, that's just an addition to this Darth Maul thing that is about the underworld during the Empire era, and will explain that huge gap that we have with Maul between the end of Clone Wars and the his appearance in Rebels, where he's ruling this crime syndicate in the shadows, and we see it for 30 seconds in Solo. We see him there, but this show will really go into it, I guess. And this is, again, that's another dream show. The amount of people, including myself, who've been waiting for some Darth Maul like series in that era or movie or whatever the fuck. Like, this is legit like fan dreamt projects that are coming to reality right now. And I would not be surprised if they are looking around the internet and scrounging for shit people want at this point because they know they can't do it themselves. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm going to be honest. I would not be surprised. But yeah, that show's insane. That is going to be absolutely insane. And I am really looking forward to that. And I heard Matt Michnovitz is going to be writing that show, supposedly. And he wrote a ton of episodes of Clone Wars. Let me pull him up to see exactly what he did. Holy hell, I don't know how to spell his name. Here we go. Oh no, he's writing Tales of the Underworld. But there's a rumor he's writing this as well. So he wrote Jedi Fallen Order, he wrote Jedi Survivor, he wrote episodes for Clone Wars season 6 and 7. So he wrote the Citadel arc, he wrote the Umbara arc, he wrote the canceled arc about Cad Bane and Boba, another canceled arc about Yoda and Kashyyyk meeting the Wookiees. And he wrote another Maul arc, which was canceled, and, reinvented into the Son of Dathomir series. And he also wrote 1313, which was canceled. So this guy has written peak Star Wars. And, like, legit peak Star Wars. Not like, oh, it's peak Star Wars. Ahsoka season 1. No, fuck that. He wrote peak George Lucas Star Wars. That is the kind of guy you need to be writing this stuff. Not these random Hollywood loser idiots. You need like Matt Michnovitz, what's his name? Stuart Beatty, like those guys. Those are the guys you need to be running the show here, So yeah, that's happening. Back to Ahsoka season 2. Thrawn will be a major part of the Star Wars galaxy, and it is currently unknown how much he will be in Ahsoka season 2 or if he will at all, because he's now in the main galaxy. However, Princess Leia and Mon Mothma will be discussing him in season 2. So Leia's appearance will be part of a setup for the Heir to the Empire film. And this Heir to the Empire film is going to be that Star Wars movie, that Mandoverse movie that we have all been waiting for. Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Princess Leia, and Thrawn, insane Force shit, crazy duels. What's it called? It's going to be super, I guess, reminiscent to the Timothy Zahn Heir to the Empire book. So that's going to be insane. And this is all extraordinarily positive news. Okay, like, Thrawn's going to be a major antagonist. Luke, Leia, Anakin, Obi-Wan, like, all this just sounds not believable. And I completely understand if you click off this video when I'm done and are like, you're lying. These are rumors, you're lying. But it's true. Like, all this shit is happening. It's legit. Because they know that they have to save Star Wars right now or it will collapse to shit. I mean, the fact you had a Star Wars show not even make it on the Nelson charts through its whole run, that is insane. That can't happen. So, like, they are really, really, really are now just dropping their big film bro ego, and they're like, we just need to do cool stuff at this point, and that's great. That is great that we are seeing this. So that's it for Ahsoka season 2. So if you're just here for Ahsoka season 2, that is Ahsoka season 2. That's everything going on. This is confirmed. This is happening. However, if things change and they rewrite shit, reshoot shit, cut shit, they'll do that and things might shift. But as of where it is right now, this is what's going on. And remember this too, because if it comes out and all this stuff happened, then it just proves again how great that source is. If it doesn't, then that proves that Lucasfilm is being stupid again and changing shit that they shouldn't be changing. But for now, that is Ahsoka season 2. So our next topic is The Mandalorian and Grogu. And unfortunately, this is the bad news of the video. And unfortunately, this movie is described by our precious leaker as a major just side mission with Din, Grogu, and Rada, and is not expected to have major cameos or surprises or anything, and is described as pointless and lacking excitement. And Lucasfilm is supposedly freaking out about this project because they think it's going to fail at the box office due to its lack of compelling elements and character development. And this is really disappointing to me because I really thought this was going to be great. I saw that trailer. I was like, all right, this is just the beginning of what we're going to see. And obviously, it still could be fun. It still could be a good time. We could have AT-ATs. We could just go on a fun little adventure, and that's going to be it. But this is not going to be a big deal. This is not going to be like some genre-changing, Star Wars shifting, insane project. This is going to be very just fun, mediocre, good Disney Star Wars. That's what this is going to be. However, in the bigger picture, again, in the bigger picture of things, this movie is not going to be praised by critics. It's not going to be praised by the press or the fans or any of that. It's just everyone's going to be kind of on the same line with it, where they're going to just kind of be like, yeah, that was fun, but it was fun and there's nothing more to it, And yeah, I guess it legitimately is a side mission with Embo just being the villain, and like that's it. So supposedly that's what's going on right now, unless Lucasfilm is doing an insanely good job at hiding leaks and whatever for this. But I don't think so, because we got all that other stuff, and this supposedly is just doo-doo. So yeah, I don't know. I guess that's kind of the deal for Mando and Grogu. Disappointing for sure, but fuck, I'll take something fun and maybe not as complex over something absolutely horrible that breaks lore that is complex. That's where I am right now. So will I probably enjoy it? Yeah. But am I going to glaze all over it? Probably not. Probably not. And my only concern is here, and why I'm saying it's the more negative part of the video, is because I don't want them to see Mando and Grogu fail and then go, oh yeah, Heir to the Empire has to be a TV show now. That's my big concern. I really do not want them to do that or cut their movie slate off because of that, right? Like, I really do not want that to happen at all. So that's my big concern here, is that is going to be a box office bump in the road from what we are aware of. And I hope that doesn't deter them from making more movies and that they just stick it through and understand, hey, we fucked up here. And again, this isn't a Jon Favreau thing, I guess, because he didn't fucking write it, apparently. So he's just the director, and when you're a director, people give the director all the credit and shit for everything. And it's like they really, like, they have the script, and the script is there, and you're just doing what you can with the script. So he'll make the movie look fucking gorgeous and you know, have cool action sequences, and he can do stuff there and have it be edited really well and whatever, right? But in terms of the story and how it's written, he has some control, obviously, but it's not a lot, man. Because that's all the writer, and Lucasfilm and what they want, right? So I don't know. I guess this is just going to be kind of whatever. And supposedly Jon Favreau is done with Lucasfilm after the Mandalorian era, and he is absolutely not interested in becoming the president or co-president of Lucasfilm, which is sad. But I get it, because they've treated him like shit, and I guess they're still treating him like shit. So he's just done. And it's rumored, this is a rumor, it's rumored that Jon Favreau directed some parts of the Mando and Grogu movie from home because of his frustration with Kathleen Kennedy's leadership. And her influence is seen as a negative within Lucasfilm, and the studio culture is supposedly crumbling. So the rumored part of that is that John directed some parts at home. The confirmed parts is that Kathy is seen as negative at Lucasfilm. And that's lovely, because that means people are seeing through her shit, and that's lovely. And I hope she just fucking leaves or something, but who knows. On to the next piece. There is a complete creative overhaul at Lucasfilm. There is speculation that Lucasfilm may undergo a complete overhaul to shift away from Kathleen Kennedy's approach. Kevin Feige could potentially get involved, which would change the direction of Star Wars under new leadership. And what this means is he'd leave Marvel, go to Star Wars. There are people at Lucasfilm and Disney who are reportedly dissatisfied with the current direction of Star Wars and may push for change away from Kennedy's vision. Kathleen Kennedy has been pushing for six Rey-focused movies, but there's hope that the other leadership voices within Lucasfilm will prevent this from happening. Kathleen Kennedy is reportedly planning on staying as a producer even after she steps down as president, and could try and attempt to influence future projects. So that is that. And I've known that there's this conflict and kind of internal struggle going on at Lucasfilm for a while, but I guess now things are kind of coming to a head, which is lovely. Now, the future of Star Wars, outside of these main topics, like I said, Heir to the Empire, I already kind of talked about this part. It's the most anticipated Star Wars project, set to feature key characters from the original trilogy, Luke, Han, Leia, similar to the Timothy Thrawn book, and will be potentially set up a new era of Star Wars with the Thrawn threat, and is viewed as the movie fans are waiting for, with expectations of major excitement, and will be mainly as a look to the future instead of a concluding movie that's nostalgic and looking back. Is it the last movie of the Mandoverse? Yes, but it is setting up something totally new that we haven't seen, which is lovely, and I'm glad that they're taking that approach and not taking the approach of, oh, this is it, it's all over now. Do you know the amount of times they fucking done that with this shit? It's crazy. They did it with, the saga, obviously. They did it when, and I mean, their stupid 9 bullshit. They did it with Bad Batch, they did it with Clone Wars, and then they just continue those stories. It's don't do this big fucking... Clone Wars is fine, obviously, because it needed to end that way. But Bad Batch, They're treating it as this big fucking finale. It's like, you don't need to treat everything as a big fucking finale. That's the thing. You know, you really don't. And I'm glad that this is going to feel big and like a finale, but at the same time, they're not going to be all weird about it. And they're just going to be like transitioning to the next phase. It's going to be more of a transition than a just dead stop, you know, which is lovely. And I'm very excited for that. So this supposedly will be really great. And this is Dave Filoni's movie, by the way. Next, the Darth Maul series. Already kind of talked about this. The focus will be on Maul. And this would explore the character's journey more deeply, and including his backstory from Clone Wars and beyond. Again, Book of Boba Season 2 is supposedly going to be announced, with hopes that it will make Boba a badass. Blah, 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 you know, bounty hunter. There's optimism that Boba will get back to his roots in this season. So that is it. That is all the stuff going on at Lucasfilm right now. And that is why they are not announcing shit left and right, because the things that they're working on, they are putting time into. And they are really thinking about. Even the Rey stuff. Everyone is looking at that over there, I guess, and going, this is kind of insane. This is kind of crazy. So what do we have right now? We have, that's one side of Lucasfilm. And the other side is this Dave, Heir to the Empire side, where he's literally straying the story away from the sequel trilogy. And basically creating another sequels before the sequels, right? So that fans who hated the sequels can have a sequel trilogy, not really, you know, sequel thing with those characters to look at and enjoy, and then have the ability to ignore the other ones. I already ignore the other ones, but there are people who are like, it's not a complete story because now they already have, and they're blah, 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 blah. But now people won't have that stupid excuse, you know, and they'll wrap it up before 7, and 7 will, and 8 and 9 will be these extra ones for the weirdos who like those stories, you know, but that's kind of what's happening. So Kathy, again, is the main issue. Is it Disney? No. It's not. Disney is the issue for the DEI shit, but all that stuff is calming down now, and they're understanding. People don't want to watch that shit because it's annoying, and you don't need to put politics into everything. So they're chilling. But the stuff with the actual stories of the products, that's all Kathy digging into everything. So now we are seeing there is literally a civil war at Lucasfilm actively being fought. It's a cold civil war where no one's actually fighting or fighting over leadership. They're literally just doing, they're competing with each other, basically. The Dave side and the Kathy side. And we all know which side's going to fucking win. And that's obvious, and that is the Dave side. You know? So it's all about money, and the Rey movies aren't going to fucking make money. You know, that's the thing. And 6 Rey movies, give me a break, dude. Just cancel that shit at this point. Anyways, I'm fucking thrilled for AHSOKA Season 2 now. And I'm very optimistic about this approach. What is my only concern? It's, will the writing be objectively consistent and good? Will it be quality? Will it serve a purpose in Star Wars? These are the things that I am concerned about, which is like dialogue, character development. So this is more the film stuff. But the Star Wars side of this seems to be pretty solid. It's just more the film side of, will they develop their characters? Will they progress the plot? Will this serve a purpose? You know, will the dialogue be good? All this, like, other stuff is more my concern with Dave. As that was my concern with him in Season 1. You know, here's what I really want out of this. I want this season to be 1,000 times more Star Wars-y than Andor, and be written just as good than as Andor. That's what I want. You can't really write better than Andor. That's pretty hard, but to be just as good, that's possible. And if they do that, this will be the best Disney Star Wars ever. And it could be Star Warsy enough for me to forgo little errors in writing. It could. That is a possibility. It could just be that Star Wars that I'm like, I'll fucking take it, dude. Fuck all the this and that writing shit. That's possible from what we are seeing. So I'm fucking thrilled, man. Between all the stuff we've got, that Underworld show, Tales of the Underworld, which we got the trailer for, AHSOKA Season 2, Heir to the Empire, changes at Lucasfilm. The future is very bright. Mando and Grogu, kind of murky, but everything else is looking great. I'm thrilled. I'm ready. I'm excited. Let's bring Star Wars back, dude. Let's bring it fucking back. And guys, do not hate watch. Do not hate watch, okay? Because hate watching is never good. If you know it's going to be shit, do not watch it, No. The Rey movie, we have to play this tactically. Go watch all of the Dave stuff. Watch Mando and Grogu. Even though it might be doo-doo, watch it anyways, because we want to show them that we want that side and we don't want this side. Do not watch the Rey movie. I will not be watching any of those 6 Rey movies. I will not. If they are legitimately centered around Rey, I will not be watching those movies. And especially after John Boyega's insane comments about how fans are, again, he pulled the same thing that 1,000 other woke idiot, celebrity, loser, Hollywood cultist actors have said. He gave the same stupid argument. Fans are racist. They're just, they nitpick around us. They don't want black people in the lead role. Fella, I'm the guy who pushed for Rey to be the main character of the sequel trilogy. I'm the guy who wanted you to have the saber. I was the guy that fought for you when you got shrunk down in the China poster. I was with you the whole time. I hated Rey. I was like, Finn should be the main. What? And now you're going after me and my friends who have also been saying the same shit about you, that you should have been the main character? Come on, man. It's not us, dude. That was Disney. That legitimately was Disney, because that release stuff, producing stuff, Rey stuff, that's Disney, dude. And the virtue signaling out of that was insane. It was wild. But anyways, now that he seems to maybe want to get back into it, I'm good, bro. I don't want to see you anymore. I'm done with you. Look, we were chill for a while, and then you do this. It's like, no, bro. Get off. Go away from me, dude. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck the Rey bullshit. All that shit. Just go to hell. I'm not watching it. That's the thing. I'm not watching any of that shit. But if you're a real Star Wars fan, you'll give every product a chance. Fuck you, shill. I'm not giving you a chance, bitch. I'm not going to watch a Rey movie voluntarily. You'd have to strap me to a fucking chair with an electric chair to get me to sit through that voluntarily. Yeah, you're not. You're not going to be able to hook me into that shit. I'm not going to watch it. I'm not paying these idiots for that movie to do well. I'm not. I'm not. It's going to crash and burn, and I'm going to go watch Heir to the Empire 3 fucking times if it's good, and that's what I'll do. And I'll be like, hey, this is what I want, not this. And guys, this is the thing. We are in the game right now. This is a game. Everything you watch right now until the end of this current phase of shit being announced, we are in the middle of a game. Okay? And every move has to be calculated. What you watch coming out, what you support, what you put your money to, has an impact. And for a while I was like, oh, people are just going to watch it anyways. It's like, no. And especially me, because I have a voice and I'm talking to at least 100 people, and I might be convincing at least 100 people with my videos. What you say from now on has an impact. And if everyone says, oh, it's not a big deal, I'll just watch it, then it will just make money for no good reason, right? So this right here is what we got to do, guys. We got to calculate this and support what we need to support, even if it might not be great, like Mando and Grogu. We need to support what we need to support for our vision of Star Wars, for the bigger picture, you know? And that might include Mando and Grogu, right? However, we're not going to go watch the Rey movie simply because it says Star Wars on it. I'm not doing that, dude. Just like I wouldn't watch The Acolyte Season 2 if it came out. I wouldn't watch it. And like I said, you'd have to give me so much weed, so many drugs to make me watch that show. And I still wouldn't, because I don't like drugs, and I think drugs are for bitches. So with that said, I'd never watch it, you know? Yeah, so it's like you gotta just support your side at this point, you know? Support what you want to support. You know, obviously, if Dave does something atrocious, then don't support it, right? I'm not like this black and white thinker. I'm very three-dimensional. But let's try to not support that weird shit, you know? Let's try to not, you know? Let's just not. How about that? You know, I know all the shills will, the fake fans, the casuals, then I don't understand anything about Star Wars people. They won't fucking understand anything. And they'll just go see everything. However, I'm very against that, and I will not, and the real fans will not. So that's a big chunk of us, actually, too. So just some of us are quiet and don't have accounts online. So yeah, that is it. So let's play this game. Let's fucking kill it, dude. You know, let's absolutely demolish these weird Kathleen Kennedy people, and kick some ass and continue to make cool fan stuff, continue to speak online. All these things will help us get there, you know? But we are in a war right now. Not really. I wouldn't say a war. We're in a Cold War right now. We gotta beat Russia. You know, we gotta beat fucking Kathleen Kennedy, communist ideals, bitch. So, yeah, let's kick some booty. You know, let's kick some booty. I will see y'all later in the next video. I'm thrilled, I'm excited, and I'm very just excited to see how this all plans out. So, see you in the next one. Till then, may the Force be with you always. Goodbye.